Sometimes I'm a little late to the party with doing a video on something that I've had, and people are doing reviews and God knows what, and then I end up doing one several months later. One in question is the AirPods Max, which I've had now for maybe a couple of months or so, but they've been out for a good couple of years. The reason I wanted to get the AirPods Max is that I moved back into the Apple ecosystem once again. I always use Macs, but I've used Samsung phones and sort of switched between Apple and Samsung over the years, going back and forth, back and forth. For the last few years, I've been using an Apple TV. And at night, when people are sort of going to bed and I want to keep things a little bit quiet because they don't want to hear a whole bloody great Atmos system going on in the house, I'll listen on some headphones. And previously, I've been using the Sony earbud things, which I think are the WHX. What are these? The WHX. You know the ones I mean. The fancy ones that got the noise cancelling and all sorts. I should do a review on these because these are really good. Anyway, what isn't so good about things that are sticking in your ears all the time is when you're watching TV and then say some movies and so on, it gets a bit irritating after a while. Certainly for me, because I've got teeny tiny little ears inside there. Little ear canals are so small. AirPods Max appealed to me because they had the spatial audio thing. And I'd heard good things about the spatial audio of these AirPods, and I thought I'd give them a go. Not really expecting a huge amount. And if I was honest with you, and I like to be honest with you, they are the only reason why I am keeping them. If they didn't have this spatial audio thing going on and it wasn't so well implemented, I would have sent them back. They are the best way of consuming music that Apple provide, or listening to music. However, there are better alternatives from Bose and Sony and so on that are a bit cheaper but do a much better job. However, what these others don't do, like Bose and Sony, is they don't provide any spatial audio. And that is the only reason why I'm keeping them, because the sound quality on music and so on is okay. It's not worth £550, which is what these cost. If you want to use the lossless aspect of iTunes, you actually have to manually plug them in. They can't do it wirelessly like others can. And well, it's just not that great a sound when you're listening to music. It's okay. But you know, my experience lays with some really high-end headphones, and my ears probably are a bit attuned to sort of expecting a bit more than what these are delivering. I think for the average person, this is going to sound really snobbish, and I apologize, but I think for the average person, they will be okay. If they really want to stick within the whole Apple thing and they like the design is great. But if they want to stick within that whole Apple thing and they don't want to faff around setting it up, and there's not much faff if we're honest, then yeah, that you'll be happy with them. But there are better alternatives that are cheaper, that may not look as cool, that may require you to connect them sort of via Bluetooth in a you know, and do a bit of pairing and so on. But that's small compared to, you know, what we used to have to do. The noise cancellation is okay. Others do a better job. The AirPods or AirPads. Ew. Nobody wants an AirPad, do they? It's like a farty pad, farty sanitary pad. Now I've got that image in my head. Get it out. Yeah, so the noise cancellation is okay. Again, Sony, Bose, and all the others tend to do a bit of a better job. I did read that there was some updates that Apple did to these headphones, and they've kind of ruined the the noise cancellation. I didn't hear before that update what it was like, so I only know what it's like now because mine came with that update already installed. The design and everything is great. There's no, you can't adjust any EQ or anything. There's, it is what you're given. There's no sort of EQ settings that you can actively change. So it's sort of limiting in that point. And that's quite disappointing because sometimes you just do have to tweak certain headphones, even decent, really good headphones. You sometimes just have to tweak them just a tiny bit. But with these, you don't get any means of tweakability. It is just the whole spatial audio thing that really makes these shine and are the only reason why I'm keeping them. If they didn't have the spatial audio, I'd be sending them back pronto. I do have other means of listening to music. If I hadn't, and there were other options with spatial audio that work as well with the Apple TV, and it works with all the apps on Apple TV, and just how that whole spatial thing works. It makes you feel like you're in a whole surround environment, and it just works incredibly well. It really does work very well. But other than that, I wouldn't recommend. There are better alternatives. If you want to just consume music, listen to music and consume other content, then I would probably look to get them for that. The spatial audio, I believe, works if you're watching on a phone or iPad or so on as well. So if you're looking at Apple TV and through those devices, it will work through those as well. Let me know your thoughts. Do you have one of the alternatives I sort of mentioned by Bose and Sony, or any other for that matter? Do you have these headphones, and are you happy with the sound? And where did you come from? What device what headphone did you have before you came to the one you have now? Let me know your thoughts. I think it's always interesting to see and it's all subjective, of course. My experiences differ. So, I've used 1,000,001 headphones just simply because of what I do. And I've got 1,000,001 headphones now. The pair behind me cost £1,400. And those aren't the most expensive headphones I've bought. The most expensive were the Focal Utopias, which were £4,000. And probably the biggest waste of money because they died on me. One side failed. And I had a whole mare with Focal on with them. Yeah, that's a whole other video. Let's not go there. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Always interesting to know what people's experiences are of the hardware I'm sort of playing with, and the hardware that you're using personally too. All right, catch you next time. Take care.